Who is responsible for the breakup?
Me. I did not know how to be somebody's partner.
Wait, did you see that body language there? He said me, but pointed to him, so I'm curious what that means. Hi, I'm Stephanie Anyabwile, a licensed marriage and family therapist, and today I'm going to be reacting to the Cuts video, Can 30 Questions Save Our Relationship? Let's jump in.
Who are you and what made you come here today?
My name is Stacy, and I'm here because my wife doesn't want to be with me anymore.
It was 30 chances to save your marriage, so why not?
Is that what you're looking to do today?
Maybe. I actually, to be honest with you, don't know.
Here, when we get a couple that is in that stage where you're not sure what you're in therapy for, we call that discernment counseling. And that's where before we start talking about all of the issues that you're experiencing in your relationship, first we need to talk about what are we here to accomplish. For some people, they're going to be in therapy to save their relationship. For some people, they'll be in therapy to be able to figure out if they want to save their relationship. And for some people, they're looking for a way to amicably split. And so if you're in any of those three different places, we can see that you might have a couple that are, they both are there for different reasons. And we definitely need to identify that before we get started with our work.
I have an ex who I think I still may have feelings for. It would be good for her to know how I feel.
So she has no idea?
Yeah, no, she has no idea.
I think I'm here to get some questions asked about me and my ex.
Kind of been chatting a little bit over the past couple of months, and we've been really intentional about our feelings.
What do you miss most about the relationship?
His spunk, his personality. Growing up, I think we were just kind of the two gay dudes that all the hood dudes respected. Like the gay Jay and Beyonce.
Hi, you okay?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I love that moment of the physical affirmation, just giving that little security of, hey, even though this is about to be hard, I'm here with you. Sometimes when I have couples in distress in therapy, I'll have us start with those physical assurances, make eye contact, remember to grab each other's hands when conversations get difficult, reaffirm that you're here to help make your relationship better and not to attack each other. So I really loved that moment.
Who is responsible for the breakup?
Me. I did not know how to be somebody's partner.
Wait, did you see that body language there? He said me, but pointed to him. So I'm curious what that means. If we were in a session together, I would definitely ask about that. It could mean a couple of things. It could mean that he's saying me, but there's a part of him that blames him as well. Or it could be that he's trying to say it before his ex does. And so he's like, hey, let me say it before you do. It was me. So I would definitely call that out. Body language is such an important aspect of working with families and couples in particular, because there's a lot that they might show physically that they're not saying verbally.
Sexually, where can I improve?
Be honest.
Go for it.
We're being honest. Okay. Head game.
Yeah.
Picking up the pace. With head comes variety.
Yeah. I'm working on it.
Yeah.
I'm trying.
Kissing. What? Yeah. You kiss really aggressive.
That conversation or that question is so important. And it's one of those things that they might have never had that conversation if it wasn't for this video. And this is one of the things that I have to encourage people to focus on when you are trying to develop a healthy sex relationship with your partner, is you have to be honest. What's working, what's not working, what would you like to try? That's the only way that you can really understand if you all are sexually compatible, because you might make sense in every other area. And I always believe that there can be growth sexually, but you have to first be honest. Even if it's a kink or something that you're like, I'm a little bit embarrassed or ashamed to admit this, hopefully you've created an environment within your relationship where it's a safe space to explore and process. You might try that thing and not be that into it, but it's better for your partner to know than not to know. And I'm curious, for example, here, had they had that conversation earlier, could their relationship have lasted a bit longer, maybe been a bit healthier?
Why do you think we didn't work out?
I don't think it's necessarily my fault, but I think it's my issues. And then the postpartum set in, and then COVID happened. I haven't had an opportunity to take a breath. And now that I finally feel like I'm starting to feel a little bit better, it's too late. You're already exhausted with me.
I'm not exhausted with you. I'm just emotions in general. It's a lot.
I think it's important to point out that they're both saying the same thing, that neither one of them is willfully or purposefully feeling depleted within the relationship and outside of the relationship, but that is just the reality they're both experiencing that is inevitably affecting the relationship. So you've got one saying, I was dealing with postpartum issues, the pandemic, like all of these things were taking my mental health was taking a hit. And these are things out of my control, but it definitely impacted the relationship. And then she says, but now it's too late and you don't want to be with me. And her partner is saying the same thing. No, it's not that I don't want to be with you. I am emotionally drained. I'm in the same predicament that you were in before you got yourself out of that place. And the relationship seems like it's going to require a major investment of energy to salvage. So they're really saying the same thing. It was just, unfortunately, they were experiencing the same thing at different times.
Where do you think we failed us?
Got a comment. I love how the cut phrased that question. Where do you think we failed us? As opposed to how did you fail me or how did I fail you? It's the relationship that is suffering, not the individuals within the relationship, which obviously there are times where it will be the individual. But in a conversation like this, when you're trying to keep it productive, phrasing questions that way keeps the conversation productive so that we're not turning it into a blame game about who's the bigger victim, who got hurt the most. We're saying, what was the downfall of this thing that we really tried to build together?
You still not having the time to allow me to get to know you and for you to get to know me.
I think that it's a mutual thing. I agree with what you're saying though.
Well, the thing is, we can't be any of that if we're not showing up. And on multiple occasions, you don't show up. His friends are everything to him. We have been talking about hanging out, right, for maybe the past 2 weeks. And he has canceled on me like twice. So with my abandonment issues, that's very scary territory, you know?
Listen, can we talk about self-awareness? That is the type of thing that you want to get to the point where you can communicate that, right? I see this a lot of times where couples are either in a distressed place or they've already broken up and they're considering getting back together. That person that you're trying to win back is like, the issues that broke us up in the first place, have they been addressed? It seems like maybe one of them, maybe both of them, but that one partner who says, hey, I have abandonment issues, he's clearly been doing some introspection and he recognizes there are triggers for him that are activated by this relationship. And even though I like the way he was phrasing it, it didn't seem that he was looking at his ex necessarily through a negative lens. He was just recognizing that his ex really prioritizes his friendships. And that's a healthy way to say that, right? It's not that they're a bad person. It's just that their priorities seem to lie in a different place than this relationship. And he's showing me that the things that led to the demise of our relationship are still things that are regular habits of his, such as not prioritizing getting together. So I really love that he mentioned he had the abandonment issues and also that he had grace towards his ex, that he just had different priorities.
Why am I not good enough to be in a marriage with?
I mean, you are, but for the sake of this conversation, you just say whatever you think I want to hear. I sincerely and genuinely want to hear how you're feeling and what your opinions are and why you're frustrated or angry or whatever.
Now, I don't like how they phrase this question. Why am I not good enough to be in a marriage with? Again, that gets back into the blame. And I love how her wife responded. She was like, hey, first of all, you are. She put that concern or insecurity down. Now, I'm not sure if they came up with these questions or if the cut did, but I wasn't a fan of that question. But what she is saying in response is so important. I can't tell you how many couples that I see where there are these huge, glaring, hugely impactful elements of their past that they are uncomfortable talking about, and understandably so, but it's really difficult to create a healthy relationship, to create that safe space, the haven that you want your relationship to be when there are so many elements of yourself that you're holding dear. And it doesn't have to just be about your past. What she's describing here is that in the moment, the things that they're dealing with, she could never trust that her wife was telling her how she truly felt. And when you have that lack of clarity, it's really hard to modify your actions, to understand your partner's behaviors better. It's a real missed opportunity to help the relationship grow and develop, and really, most importantly, create the emotional intimacy needed for longevity. So this is a very valid concern and complaint that she's having here. And I hope that her partner, if they don't stay together, I definitely hope her partner at least can take that information to the next relationship that she's in.
Who do you think was the main person not communicating properly?
I will totally take that as me, because I feel like I'm a person who tries to save a person's feelings, and so I shut down.
I'm really curious if they got those single interviews before or after the joint interview. Like, I'm wondering, did she have that insight prior to this conversation or not? I wish we knew that.
Have you slept with anyone since we've broken up? Anyone I know? Meg?
Yes, yes.
You want to elaborate on that?
No, I don't.
I hated that question. What value do you get from knowing that information other than just getting jealous or a check on the ego? I don't know. Some of these things are a little bit for drama sometimes, and I prefer when all the questions are just for a productive conversation that you can take into your next relationship.
Have you slept with anyone since we've separated?
No.
Yeah, I believe you. I know you haven't.
Wait, have you, Stacey?
There's a hesitation there.
It depends on the context, but you already know. You already know the answer to that.
Yeah.
What's the answer?
Yes.
Yes.
I did tell her, but I told her not extremely right away.
How long was the wait time?
Okay, well, you want
few days.
A few days.
All right.
It could be a few days, but it was the context of how it came out. I told you the truth about one itty bitty little teeny tiny thing. Oh, well, you know what? There's something I need to tell you too.
Yeah, but
Not cool, man.
I know, and I'm not trying to defend myself at all. Well, I'm sorry that I didn't tell you right away. You want to keep going?
Yeah.
You okay?
Yeah.
They didn't really give a lot of details as to what happened, so I can't really comment on that. But what I will say is I appreciated that she recognized that her partner was having a bit of an emotional crisis in this moment and checked in to say, are you okay to keep going with this conversation? I thought that was really respectful and helpful, so that, you know, you had her consent to continue with the emotional wounds if they were to unfold.
Call a friend and ask them if we should get back together.
Why?
Hey, Brianna. So let me ask you a question. Do you think that me and Coach T should get back together?
You really want to ask me that?
Oh, this is Julian. This is her husband. I'll ask both of y'all.
If you feel comfortable and he's trying and attempting and showing you that he can be trusted, then yes.
Julian, since your ass is on the phone.
I remember ghosting him, but if you're really willing to commit, you really like him, yeah.
Y'all telling too much business. Bye.
Wow. You see those differing perspectives? The one that's closest to him that called is like, you know, if he's going to show up and you can trust him and things like that. And then the other one, I would imagine her husband's probably a little bit more of the objective view, because he's probably not as close to either of them. Is like, you know, I remember you ghosted him. So it's like one of them is blaming one partner and the other's blaming the other partner. And that's why involving friends and family and those kind of choices can sometimes be unproductive. You know, they're going to have such a limited view into what happened. Now we're talking about two people in the same household, in the same relationship, having completely different perspectives on who they believe was at fault. And now when you're in therapy, ideally your therapist is not going to look at it through a linear causality lens, meaning that you're looking for this person was in the wrong, this situation is what led to everything. They're gonna look more circular. This behavior leads to this behavior, leads to this thought, leads to this action. You know, we're looking more a circular and a multi-generational process or view.
Name 3 reasons why we shouldn't get back together. Whoa.
You're a soft kisser. You're busy, busy, busy.
Are you sure busy is a real reason when you're the one that stands me up?
I think we work better as friends. I think romantically, not compatible. We're very different people.
I bring you down with my sadness, with my anger. That's it.
I think you're really beautiful. Even when you cry, like.
This couple for me is the couple that I hope can figure it out, because as we've seen through the video, the kindness they're able to show each other, the grace, you know, they're being very transparent and honest. And I noticed that they're both taking accountability as well for their contributions to what's happening within their relationship. Just as we saw her check in about if she was okay to move forward, talking about the conversation, now we see it on the flip end, right? She's having an emotional crisis in this moment, and she uses it as an opportunity to give her those verbal affirmations, you know? Right now, I know you feel like your sadness is too much for me, but you're still beautiful to me even when you cry. This, I think, is one of the most touching moments in the video, and I'm really rooting for these two.
When did you know that you had fallen out of love with me?
I still love you. Yeah, so I don't think that's the thing.
I think there's a part of me that still is in love with you.
Did you see that facial reaction? This is the kind of thing that in therapy, you just cannot let it slide. I'd be like, I noticed that you looked a little surprised. My interpretation of that facial expression is that you were surprised when he said that. Is that an accurate interpretation of how you were feeling? Again, that's that, watching that body language, she looked completely taken aback. Like, from just seeing her face, you know it's not the same response.
I don't know. I think I just kind of put a lot of pressure on the feeling of trying to get to this feeling of being in love, but
So you were never really in love?
no. I know I have a lot of love for you.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I just don't think it was working for me in that way.
Painful.
Are you happier without me?
No. Are you happier without me?
That's kinda. Only kind of. And that's being absolutely honest.
Yeah. I mean, I get it.
That couple is just my favorite. Like, they're just so honest and transparent and hold space for each other. They are trying their best not to shut down, not to turn it on each other and get angry. I just think if there was any couple here that I think these questions is actually, you can see the work happening through the conversation, I would say it's probably them.
What would it take for you to give us another chance?
I honestly don't know. I feel that we need to take some time and figure out who the F we are as people and as parents before we even talk about being together as a couple.
I hear you. I just don't agree.
And that's fine.
See, I keep talking about them, I know. But I feel like this is the couple you can take the most lessons from. She says, I hear you. I can hold space for your opinion and not agree. And what does she say in response? That's fine. They don't expect to be on the same page about everything. And even this thing that very much affects the future of their relationship and their family, they're able to hold space for their differing opinions. And that, I think, is one of the things where I would be, if they were my couple, my clients, you know, I would be putting that in the client progress section of my note.
How was it hearing that he was still in love with you?
That was weird, for sure. He's never told me that.
Do you think, honestly, with time, you'll get back together?
There's a part of me that wants to believe that. From what I heard today, it sounds like she's pretty over it.
Do you think anywhere like down the line you'll get back together?
No.
We had to talk about this because I feel like some people may see this and view her as the villain and think she's being really callous. And I absolutely can understand that interpretation. But what I've found is that when you are clear that there isn't a future with someone, the kindest thing that you can do is to be transparent about that and firm, because especially since they have a friendship, it would be tempting to give a false illusion of hope, and that is actually not fair, because then he can't properly move on and invest totally in a new situation or into himself. She, I know, comes across kind of like cold-hearted. We don't know the full extent of their relationship in history. When she talks about boundaries being crossed, we don't know what that means. And so I like to hold opinions when we really don't know the full history, but I do appreciate the fact that she's being, I feel like, gentle but firm in saying that she's not interested in being back together. It's hard to break the heart of a friend, and it seems like it is important to her to maintain that friendship. I love that at the end of this video, they include the questions that they asked in case anyone else wants to do the same. I think the big question is this productive? Is it healthy to have conversation with the ex about your relationship and unpack that? You know, are there benefits to that? It definitely depends on the situation. You know, if you were in a situation where abuse, for example, was within the relationship, if you look back on it and you feel like talking to this person could re-traumatize you or cause regression to progress you've been making on your own, avoid it. You know, you don't have to. But I do think if you had a partner, in this situation, it seems like all of these people had partners or exes that they still had some semblance of safety with. And if you do have that, you know, be clear that this is not about getting back together, if it's not that for you, but that you want to understand how you could improve. It's about accountability. If you're having these conversations to make a person apologize to you, for example, that's probably not productive, because that's more about their process and not yours. If you're having these conversations so that you can learn about yourself and ways that you can improve in your relationship, then you are helping your future partners and yourself, giving yourself the best footing possible to have a more successful relationship in the future, even if it's with the same person. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to like it and subscribe to Psych Central's YouTube channel for more content like this. For articles and other related information, please check out the links in the description box below. See you next time.